Are you thinking about adding hyperbaric oxygen into your current practice, but you're not really sure where to start? Or maybe you've already bought a chamber and you're struggling to get the business off the ground. Adding hyperbaric oxygen to your practice can transform your outcomes, deliver incredible value to your patients, and create a new revenue stream for your office, but really only if you do it the right way. I'm Dr. Jason Saunders, and after nearly 20 years of practicing hyperbaric medicine in my own clinics, and now having the opportunity to train and certify over 600 different individuals, technicians, and clinicians inside of over 300 clinics worldwide, I've gotten a really great idea of what works and what does not work when it comes to launching a hyperbaric business. Over the last 6+ years, I've had the opportunity to consult with and continue to consult with offices and clinics that are opening a hyperbaric business to get this process started the right way. I've now also taken the first few months of that consulting process and distilled it down into a very concise course, essentially a quick start guide of how to roll out hyperbarics inside of a new clinic. The content from this video is a small portion of what comes inside that quick start guide. If this information resonates with you and you're interested in the quick start guide or the consulting services, we will leave links in the description below and you can check that out. As many of you probably already know, the hyperbaric industry is growing exponentially year after year. Adding hyperbaric oxygen therapy to your clinic can dramatically improve patient outcomes, can deliver a level of value that you're currently not offering in your clinic, and it could really create a terrific revenue source for your business that doesn't require the practitioner's direct time and attention. It can really transform your entire healthcare practice. And so in this video, I'm going to cover 5 steps that are really highlights from that quick start guide course that we're now offering. I'll cover all 5, but we're really only going to go into detail on one of them, which is one of the first steps that you really need to consider. Step 1 revolves around your equipment. I cannot spend a lot of time on that topic in this video, but just understand that the equipment that you're using is critically important. Your first responsibility is to do no harm. Your second responsibility is to add value and be effective with your treatments. There are a lot of devices on the market today, and unfortunately, the overwhelming majority of them have not been safety tested. Offering HBOT in your clinic and using unapproved devices has 2 major consequences. The first is that you're potentially increasing the likelihood of somebody getting hurt. If your equipment is not safety tested and something goes wrong, the likelihood that the person in the chamber or even the people around the chamber could get hurt is incredibly high. The second is, if that happens, the liability of that accident will fall wholly on your shoulders. And I just can't imagine that holding that level of liability is worth it. Once we have the right equipment, now we're going to start talking about how to roll hyperbaric oxygen into your clinic. And I'm going to cover the first 4 steps of that rollout at a high level. And then I'm going to go into more detail on the first step of that process. So step 2, once we have the right equipment, the first thing you really want to do is start to treat yourself, your friends, your family, and then your staff. I would recommend literally in that order. Essentially, anyone that's very close to you that's willing to experience hyperbarics and actually go through at least some significant phase of care, not just a do it once and never do it again. This process, which is often unfortunately overlooked, is actually critical, and it will help you develop a few really important pieces. Number 1, it'll get you comfortable operating the equipment in a low pressure environment. Number 2, it'll allow you to get feedback from people who you trust and who trust you as far as pressurization speeds, depressurization speeds, comfort inside the chamber, maybe noises that it makes, or very specific details about the chamber experience so that you can learn from them and from your own experiences how you want to describe what a patient ought to expect, especially on their first visit. It will also give you a chance to maybe pull a few testimonials out of friends and family and staff. It will also get your staff comfortable with hyperbarics. You certainly don't need to require that every person that works for you is a huge fan or consistent hyperbaric user. However, it is very important that your staff, especially those dealing with patients who are going to be doing hyperbaric, have a level of comfort with the machine. And then lastly, it's going to help you and your staff develop a dialogue, what patients should expect when they're diving. How do we want to explain hyperbarics to new patients? How do we want to explain hyperbarics to other healthcare professionals that may refer patients to us for this therapy? So by the end of this first section, you're going to have systems, pressurization processes, depressurization processes, scripts about how hyperbaric works and why, scripts around how to explain hyperbarics to your patients and healthcare providers. And you might even be able to pull a few of those testimonials out of these trusted people. This is the step I really wanted to spend time describing because I do think this is the step that is most commonly skipped, or maybe people didn't even know that this was a step that they should have taken. This is the step where your confidence is beginning to be built. The majority of people who own chambers and are underutilizing them inside their clinic is only because they don't have the confidence to recommend hyperbaric, to talk about hyperbaric, and to hold patients accountable to maintain their hyperbaric protocol. Your confidence might be the most important component to getting started in hyperbarics and really driving this forward for the benefit of your patients and for the benefit of your clinic. So I can't stress this enough. Do not skip this step. So once you've taken the time and you've really nailed that second step, the third step is to start offering it to some very select few of your current patient base. Almost all of us have certain patients in mind when we make decisions about services and modalities that we offer in our clinic. So if you had 2 or 3 or 5 or 6 patients in mind when you said, I think I'm going to offer hyperbaric because it's really going to help so-and-so, those are the first people you should approach to utilize hyperbarics inside your clinic. Again, confidence is one of the most important things that you're building. So when you had those people in mind, you truly believed that hyperbaric was going to help them, and you want to offer this as a special early adopting feature of their care plan. A conversation like, listen, when I learned about hyperbarics and we decided to buy our chamber and bring it into the clinic, I literally had you in mind during that process. I really think that you would benefit from this type of treatment, and here's why. And I really hope that you're willing to try this. In fact, I'm even willing to discount the therapy. When we start offering this, it's going to cost X, but for you, I'm only going to charge Y. Because quite honestly, I'm also still learning, but I really want you to try this therapy. But the only thing I'm going to ask you for in return for this discount is that you're going to commit to this protocol that I think is what you need to get the result that we're looking for. And then should you get the results that we were looking for, I ask that you would give us a testimonial for your experience in the chamber and the results that you got. Are you willing to do this? This is another amazing way, low pressure, with people you already have rapport with, giving them a discount because you may not have the confidence yet, and then asking for a testimonial in return is a completely appropriate way to approach this next phase of hyperbaric rollout in your business. I would suggest anywhere between 3 and 6 patients go through this process with you, where you're building the confidence, they're gaining the results, and you're collecting testimonials for the next phase of this process. The fourth phase of the process is to actually open it up now to the rest of your clinic database. This may sound something like, many of you maybe have already noticed or have heard the hyperbaric chamber inside of our office. We're so excited to be offering this new therapy to all of our existing clients. As you may have noticed, we've already been using our hyperbaric chamber on a few select patients, and we've gotten incredible responses. Here are a few testimonials of how our first handful of patients have gone. Now, in short order, we're going to be opening hyperbarics up to the rest of the community. But before we do that, we wanted to give our existing practice members an opportunity to try hyperbarics. The cost of hyperbarics in this office is going to be X, but we are going to offer it to all of our existing patients at Y. Now, that discount should be less of a discount than what you gave those first 5 or 6 patients, but certainly a discount compared to what you're going to be offering it in the future to the community members. And if you're interested in if hyperbaric is a good fit for you, shoot us an email and we'll schedule a time that we can have a quick conversation just to make sure it's a good fit and to let you know what protocol you might need to follow in order to get the results that you're looking for. And so recognize that this may take a month or 2 to go through this whole process thus far, but at this point, you have a tremendous amount of experience operating the equipment. Your staff has experience operating the equipment. You've solidified the policies and procedures inside your office. You've developed scripting around the conversations that you need to have with patients and other healthcare providers. Your administrative staff understands the scheduling process and the flow of the hyperbaric area. And so they're confident in how this needs to roll out inside your clinic. And at this point, you should have treated about a dozen or more patients as you soft launched this chamber inside your clinic, collecting testimonials along the way. And now that you get to step 5, which is opening up hyperbarics to the rest of your community, you have everything already dialed in. This will be a huge launch of confidence as you start to treat people that you've never met, that you don't have rapport with, and help them make the decision to choose hyperbarics as part of their care plan. A lot of people want to skip the first few steps and jump right to, I want to use this tool and market it to the outside world. And if you're successful doing that, oftentimes you may bring somebody in, you're not that comfortable with the equipment, something goes awry, and now that's a shot against your confidence. You get a few shots against your confidence early in this process, and now all of a sudden you have a really expensive device in the corner of your office that's completely underutilized because you're afraid of it. That would be a huge mistake, and I see that mistake being made on a regular basis. Obviously, there's so much more to this entire conversation. In fact, there's so much more even just to those first 5 steps. If you're in a position where you think that this information is critically helpful for you to roll hyperbarics out into your clinic, either because you're first getting started or that you're having difficulty launching the hyperbaric business, please consider taking a look at our quick start guide and get the help that you need to get this off the ground, get patients what they're looking for, and build the business that you were hoping that you would build as a result of offering hyperbarics inside your clinic. I hope this helps get you started, and I really appreciate your attention. I'll see you on the next video.